We're back on Let's Have It Out. Kaya, before we went to the break, my argument was take Josh from Sandton, place him in Leboa Khomu, integrate him into that society by providing services, learning about the cultural diversity over there, return Josh to Sandton with a better understanding of the diversity of South Africa, because he would have been integrated into society, provided services. That's how you create a better South Africa, I believe, in large part. Should this program then not also have that consideration in mind?
Look, again, the reality is that we're never going to get to this program, but if we ever had a youth service program, of course, social cohesion should be one of its founding pillars, because the reality here is that you have this type of setup in South Africa. We've got a parallel society. There are people that are born into prosperity in one way or another, and there are people that are born into poverty. And the ability for those that are born into poverty to migrate into a life that is better is severely hampered by simply the fact that our education system sort of perpetuates those lines, and our social architecture perpetuates those lines. So, of course, what one might want to do is to then say, can we then find a way to start integrating society on one level or another? The one interesting argument that we used to have during Fees Must Fall, particularly with the head of Stats SA back then, is that he said that the reason he advocated for everybody being able to, get into university without paying is that even when you get there and somebody's told that because you're from Sandton, you must pay your own way, and because she's from Atatile, she must not pay, you are already perpetuating the existing social dichotomy that is no longer necessary. So he is saying that once you can actually get people to see themselves as part of the same system and see themselves as similar students, not distinguished or defined by access to money, you could be building towards this social cohesion consensus that everybody looks for. But of course, in this particular climate, I don't see that happening.
You can still engage with us, and we've got a caller from Port Elizabeth, Danki. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, my name is Danki Jafta. My comment is, does you have the buy-in of the government? Because without the funds from the government and they accepting this, you will go nowhere. And also, I want to know, we must go the route of skills development. You can have the graduates, but the other people, you must give them skills development so that they also can take part in this process. So I think it's a good thing, but the thing is, you must have the buy-in of the governors. Otherwise, the thing won't work.
Very, very important comment. Danki says two things in particular. One, you need the buy-in of the government, but that we should have a focus on skills development. Various parts of government at various levels, local, provincial, and national, and various ministries spent an enormous amount of money on learnerships, skill development programs, and a lot of it seems to go nowhere very fast. My suggestion then is scrap all of that, consolidate those resources. That proves the government buy-in. And once you consolidate those resources, you can have a more streamlined version of all these scattered programs across the country. What's your take on a national service program as discussed here versus the current program of various learnerships and skills development programs happening across the country?
I mean, I definitely would support a national service program. The questions that I would have is infrastructure. Do we have the infrastructure to support such a national service program? Do we have, the skills within, the management of that national skills? Because when we don't have management themselves knowing exactly how to disseminate such a program, we're going to end up misusing funds. Corruption is going to creep in, and essentially, it's going to be a situation where nothing ends up being done at the end of the day. And also, more importantly, what skills are we imparting on the youth of South Africa? So let's say we're not even speaking about graduates. Let's say we're taking Zanele from Nkungu and we're bringing her to, she stays in Nkungu, but we're able to train her with skills. What skills would those be? Are those skills that are necessary and pertinent to South Africa's development at the moment? We don't know, because we don't know the trajectory of South Africa's development, because our government has not been able to clearly and adequately guide us to say, in South Africa for the next 20 years, this is the industries we're going to be focusing on, because these will help to improve the economy, so forth and so forth. So skills development is very important. We just need to be able to structure it around something that will help build the economy, as opposed to taking more out of the economy, as we see at the moment. Because people do get skills training. I mean, Harambe does a lot of skills training. Digital Girl by Ian Mangena does a lot of skills training. But that skills training is void because of the fact that there is no industry and there's a vacuum within the particular, skills training areas that young people have gone into that aren't there and aren't facilitated by government.
And that's it for tonight's edition of Let's Have It Out. Keep the conversation going on social media. You can use the hashtag LHIO. I'm Oliver Dixon. Thanks for watching and good night.